What if I told you that the strength of our future lies buried deep in the wisdom of our past? Picture the greatest leaders, thinkers, philosophers, those whose words echo through centuries. That wisdom still pulses through you. Now imagine pairing that timeless force with the electric energy of today. Ideas ignited by passion, boldness, and possibility. That is what I call old wisdom, new fire. Imagine for a moment that you're standing in a place where the past and the future collide. Behind you, there's a line of people, millions of them, stretching back through centuries. They're your ancestors, your teachers, the thinkers, the warriors, the poets, the builders of civilizations. They're whispering the same truths they've carried across time: courage, resilience, integrity, compassion, discipline, faith. These are not abstract ideals. These are living forces. They are the foundations that have carried humanity through every trial, every storm, every darkness. And right now, in this moment, they are available to you. Now in front of you, there's another line, stretching into the horizon. It's the future. It's unwritten. It's glowing with possibilities, with visions not yet created, with dreams that only you can bring into being. That's the spark. That's the fire. And the truth is, you cannot move into that future without first standing firm on the foundation of the past. But you also cannot cling to the past if you want to create something bold, alive, electric. You need both timeless foundations and a fresh spark. Think about it. Every great achievement, every revolution, every breakthrough in human history has been the result of this exact fusion. A principle rooted in something eternal, paired with the daring energy to bring it to life in a new way. The foundation is the root system. It grounds you, it nourishes you, it keeps you from falling when life shakes you. The spark is the lightning bolt. It excites, it illuminates, it ignites momentum. If you only have roots, you stay stuck. If you only have sparks, you burn out. But when you combine the two-anchored wisdom with fiery action, you become unstoppable. Ask yourself, what are the timeless foundations you're standing on right now? Maybe it's the wisdom of discipline, that without consistency, nothing great is ever built. Maybe it's the truth of resilience, that no matter how many times you fall, it's your decision to rise that defines you. Maybe it's the principle of integrity, that in a world where so many bend, your word, your values, your truth remain unshakable. These foundations aren't trends. They don't expire. They don't depend on likes, algorithms, or approval. They are as relevant today as they were 1,000 years ago. But here's the key. You cannot just hold on to them like dusty artifacts. You've got to ignite them. You've got to breathe your own life, your own fire into these principles. Because wisdom without passion is like a lamp without a flame. It sits there full of potential but never illuminates, and fire without wisdom is chaos. It burns fast, leaves destruction, and vanishes. The power comes when you stand in both, rooted in something eternal, alive with something urgent. Let me give you an example. Look at resilience. It's easy to talk about bouncing back when life knocks you down, but what if you turned that into a spark? What if instead of just surviving, you decided to transform every setback into fuel? That's a fresh spark. Or take discipline. It's not just about keeping habits. It's about channeling your energy so you can create breakthroughs that no one thought possible. When you put fire into discipline, you don't just stay consistent. You explode with momentum, and here's the truth. Every single one of you has access to both. You have a library of timeless wisdom already wired into you. Generations have fought, struggled, endured, and overcome so that you could inherit this knowledge. It's in your DNA, but you also have something brand new, something no one else has ever had before. Your unique passion, your story, your vision. That's the spark. The question is, will you combine them, or will you let one smother the other? Because life will always give you two temptations. One, to cling so tightly to the old that you never evolve. Two, to chase the new so recklessly that you lose your roots. Both are traps. The power is in the merge. The old gives you stability, the new gives you motion. The old gives you depth, the new gives you height. When you weave them together, you don't just live, you create. You don't just follow, you lead. So right now, I want you to think, What foundation in your life needs a fresh spark? Maybe it's your relationships. You already know the timeless principle of love, loyalty, presence. But maybe you need to bring a new spark, adventure, spontaneity, creativity. Maybe it's your health. You know the foundation. Eat well, move your body, rest. But maybe you need to spark it with new energy. Try something that excites you, pushes you, lights you up. This is the invitation. Don't abandon the old. Don't settle for the familiar. Don't chase only the new. Don't get lost in the noise. Instead, root yourself in the eternal and ignite yourself with the electric. That's how you build a life that lasts. That's how you create change that echoes. That's how you become both grounded and on fire. Because the world doesn't need more people repeating history blindly. And it doesn't need people burning bright and fading fast. What it needs, what it's waiting for, is people like you, strong enough to stand on timeless foundations, bold enough to spark new fire. And when you live that way, anchored and ignited, you don't just survive. You don't just succeed, you set the world ablaze. There is a force inside you that you've only glimpsed. You felt it in moments. Maybe when you pushed yourself further than you thought possible. Maybe when you stood up for something you believed in. Maybe when you had an idea that lit up your mind and made your whole body come alive. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's your potential. And most people live their entire lives only scratching the surface of it. We live in a world that tells us to fit into boxes, to play by rules that keep us safe, predictable, ordinary. But inside you, there's nothing ordinary. There's a fire, a capacity for greatness, a strength that will never be unlocked by settling for average. Potential is not about what you've already done. It's about what you're capable of doing when you finally decide to stop holding back. Think about it. Every human being has the same raw ingredients, thoughts, emotions, choices, energy, yet some live in quiet desperation, while others live on fire, making history, changing lives, building legacies. What makes the difference? It's not the external world. It's the decision to ignite what's already inside. The decision to stop waiting, stop doubting, stop negotiating with your excuses, and instead unleash the power you've been carrying all along. You see, potential is like fuel. You can have a tank full of it, but if you never ignite it, it just sits there. And what's worse, over time, it turns into regret. Nothing weighs heavier than knowing you could have been more, done more, lived more, but you didn't. That's the tragedy of unrealized potential. But here's the gift. You can change that in a single moment. The moment you decide to ignite, to tap into that fuel and set it on fire, your life will never be the same. So how do you do it? First, you've got to connect with what lights you up. Too many people are chasing things they think they should want. Money, approval, titles, without ever asking what actually sets their soul on fire. If you want to unleash your potential, you need passion. You need a reason that makes you leap out of bed in the morning, a reason that makes the struggle worth it. Potential without passion is wasted energy. But when you align your energy with what you truly value, you stop forcing yourself to move forward. You start being pulled forward. Next, you've got to challenge yourself. Potential grows in discomfort. It grows when you push past the limits of what feels safe, when you demand more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Think of a muscle. It only grows when it's stretched, when it's pushed beyond its current capacity. Your potential is the same. If you want to ignite it, you can't stay comfortable. You've got to lean into fear, into uncertainty, into the places that scare you, because that's where you discover what you're really made of. And finally, you've got to take massive, consistent action. Potential is not unlocked in theory. It doesn't matter how much you think about it, dream about it, talk about it. What matters is what you do. Every bold step, every courageous choice, every relentless action fans the flames of your potential. Over time, those small sparks turn into a blaze that lights up your entire life. Now, let me be clear. Igniting your potential doesn't mean life suddenly gets easy. In fact, it means the opposite. It means you're choosing a path of growth, of challenge, of stepping into arenas where you might fail. But here's the truth: you'd rather fail chasing your potential than succeed at staying small. Because success without fulfillment is empty. But when you ignite your inner fire, when you unleash what you're truly capable of, fulfillment follows. It's not about achieving everything at once. It's about living fully, moment by moment, knowing you're giving everything you've got. So I want to ask you right now, what's the fire in you that you've been holding back? What dream have you been burying under excuses? What part of you knows there's more, but you've been too afraid to let it out? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the world to tell you it's your time. Your time is now. Your potential is waiting. You don't need to be someone else. You don't need to have it all figured out. Everything you need to ignite is already inside you, waiting, burning, demanding to be set free. And when you make the decision to light that fire, to live at your highest capacity, you'll stop existing and start truly living. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need another person who plays small, who silences their voice, who dims their light. The world needs you, fully alive, fully ignited, fully unleashed. That's the gift you were born to give, and when you step into it, not only will your life transform, but you'll spark something in others too. Fire spreads, potential spreads, courage spreads, so don't just sit on your potential. Don't let it rust away in the corner of your soul. Ignite it, fan it, live it. Let it burn so bright that it lights the way for everyone around you. Because once you do, you'll never go back. You'll never again settle for less than the life you're capable of. And you'll finally feel what it means to live fully alive. There's a truth we all know deep down, but so few live by. Knowledge alone changes nothing. You can read every book, listen to every podcast, study every philosophy, and still feel stuck. Why? Because insight without action is just potential energy. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff with wings strapped to your back, but never jumping. And action without insight, blind, frantic motion, is just spinning your wheels, exhausting yourself without ever moving forward. The real transformation happens when you fuse the two. When you combine insight with action, you create momentum. You amplify your impact. You become unstoppable. Think about this. How many times in your life have you known what to do, but you didn't do it? You knew you needed to have that tough conversation, but you avoided it. You knew you needed to take care of your health, but you put it off. You knew you had to take that leap in your career, but you let fear hold you back. Knowing didn't change anything. Action would have, but action without clarity can also lead to chaos. That's why the magic is in the combination. Insight that guides and action that executes. Let's break it down. Insight is the light. It's the awareness, the understanding, the moment where everything clicks and you suddenly see the truth. It's when you realize, this is why I've been stuck. This is what I've been missing. This is the principle that changes everything. That moment is powerful, but by itself it's fragile. If you don't act on it immediately, it fades. How many breakthroughs have you had in your life that felt incredible in the moment, but a week later, nothing had changed? That's because the insight wasn't converted into action. Action, on the other hand, is the engine. It's what takes the spark of insight and turns it into real-world results. Action is getting up at 5 a.m. when your mind tells you to sleep. Action is making the call, sending the message, building the plan, taking the step. But if that action isn't guided by wisdom, it becomes scattered. You work harder, but not smarter. You stay busy, but not productive. That's why so many people hustle endlessly yet feel like they're running in circles. They've got the action, but not the amplified insight. When you merge the two, you unlock a completely different level of power. Imagine this. You discover a principle, say, the truth that consistency beats intensity, that's insight, then you act on it by showing up every day, making progress step by step, instead of burning out with short bursts. Suddenly, your life compounds, the insight amplifies the action, and the action gives the insight real world results. You're not just thinking differently, you're living differently. Here's the key. When you receive an insight, you've got to anchor it with immediate action. Don't wait, don't let the moment pass. If you hear a truth that resonates, take one step right then and there, call the person, write down the plan, sign up for the program, start the project, because the longer you wait, the colder the spark gets. Insight is a spark. It demands action to become a flame, and when you act, reflect. Look back and ask, what worked? What didn't? What did I learn? That reflection feeds new insight, which fuels new action. This cycle creates exponential growth. Insight guides action. Action creates experience. Experience generates new insight. That's the loop that accelerates your life. That's how you move from crawling to walking to running to flying. Now ask yourself, where in your life have you been sitting on insights without action? What truths do you already know but haven't lived? And on the flip side, where have you been burning energy and action that isn't aligned with insight? Where are you busy but not effective? Identify those places and then make the decision to fuse the two. Don't just think, don't just do, think and do, learn and act, reflect and move, because here's the reality. Your life changes the moment your insight meets your action. That's when decisions stick. That's when habits form. That's when breakthroughs last. That's when you stop talking about change and start becoming the change. And the best part, once you master this fusion, you become a force of momentum. You stop hesitating, you stop second guessing, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. Instead, every insight becomes a catalyst, every action becomes progress, and together they create a compounding fire that fuels your growth. You don't just make changes, you create transformation. So right now, don't just nod your head, don't just say, that makes sense. Ask yourself, what's one insight I've been sitting on that I need to act on today? And what's one action I've been taking that I need to realign with wisdom? Then do it. Take that step, anchor it, make it real, because the truth is, insight without action is wasted potential, and action without insight is wasted energy. But when you amplify your action with insight, and your insight with action, you don't just live, you ignite. You become a creator of results, a generator of momentum, a force of transformation, and that's when life shifts. That's when you stop being a spectator of change and become the author of it. That's when you stop waiting for the future and start building it now. Every single one of us is standing on the shoulders of those who came before. Your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors, the inventors, the leaders, the dreamers who shaped the world you were born into. That's legacy. It's the accumulated wisdom, the values, the sacrifices, the structures that carried humanity forward. Without legacy, we'd have no foundation. Without legacy, we'd be starting from scratch every single generation. But here's the danger. If all you do is protect the past, you get stuck. You end up worshiping what was instead of building what could be. Legacy without innovation becomes a museum, beautiful, but lifeless. On the other hand, if all you do is chase innovation without honoring legacy, you become reckless. You burn bright for a moment, but you have no roots, no depth, no connection to what truly lasts. Innovation without legacy is a firework. It explodes and then disappears. The magic happens when the two collide. When you take the deep roots of legacy and fuse them with the explosive energy of innovation, you create something unstoppable. You honor the past while building the future. You carry forward the principles that stand the test of time, integrity, resilience, faith, love, and you infuse them with fresh creativity, bold ideas, new technology, daring vision. That's when you don't just keep the fire alive, you set the sky ablaze. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history has been this marriage. The great inventors, the great leaders, the great creators. They all built on what came before, but they refused to stop there. They asked, how can I honor the gift of what's been handed to me and multiply it into something greater? That's the question you need to ask yourself right now, because whether you realize it or not, you're carrying a legacy. You're carrying the lessons, the sacrifices, the stories of those who came before you. But the question is, what will you do with it? Will you just preserve it, or will you multiply it? Legacy is like a torch. It's been passed to you, burning with the energy of centuries, but your role isn't just to hold it, it's to carry it forward and set more flames alight. You honor the past not by repeating it, but by building on it. By asking, what can I create with this? How can I take this further? How can I make this resonate in today's world? That's where innovation comes in. Innovation is not about discarding the old, it's about reimagining it. It's about taking the core truth and finding a new way to bring it alive. Legacy says, discipline matters. Innovation says, how do I design systems, tools, and habits that make discipline effortless in the modern world? Legacy says, connection is sacred. Innovation says, how do I deepen connection using the technology of today? You don't erase the foundation, you amplify it, and this isn't just about the world, it's about you. Think about your own life. You've already built a legacy in your own way. Your experiences, your lessons, the principles that define you. But if you stop there, if you only look backward, you shrink. You've got to innovate yourself. You've got to ask, what's my next chapter? How do I take what I've learned and make it even more powerful, even more alive, even more relevant for today? This is how you become both rooted and revolutionary. You're not just a guardian of the past. You're a creator of the future. You're not just repeating what's always been done. You're expanding it, electrifying it, reimagining it in a way that keeps it alive for generations to come. That's what true legacy is. Not a memory, not a monument, but a living force that keeps evolving through you. So let me ask you, what legacy are you carrying right now? What wisdom, what values, what principles have been handed to you? And how are you bringing them alive in your own way? Are you just preserving them? Or are you infusing them with new fire, new creativity, new boldness? Because the truth is, the future doesn't belong to those who only protect what was. And it doesn't belong to those who only chase what's new. It belongs to those who merge the two, those who take the roots of legacy and the wings of innovation and create something extraordinary. And when you live this way, something powerful happens. You don't just impact your own life, you impact generations. You become a bridge between the past and the future. You ensure that the wisdom of yesterday doesn't die, but also that the possibilities of tomorrow don't go unrealized. You become the spark that keeps the flame alive and expands it into something bigger than yourself. So here's the challenge. Don't settle for being a protector. Don't settle for being a disruptor. Be both. Protect the essence, disrupt the form, honor the roots, spread the wings, carry the torch, ignite new fires, because when legacy meets innovation, you don't just create history, you create destiny. So today, I challenge you take a moment, close your eyes if you want, and ask yourself, which ancient truth moves me deeply? What's the fire that's burning inside right now? How will I marry those two and set my own world and the worlds around me ablaze? Thank you.